meditating for 9 hours a day, every day for 6 weeks, has offered me a mirror through which I could see clearly what I am and what I am not. Seeing myself this way, and most importantly, knowing how to refresh this understanding of who I am, has brought me such great clarity and peace that I find hard to describe into words. I very much wanted to participate to this retreat where I meditated for so long, as last time when I participated to a similar one, I could establish myself very deep into my true nature. If you would like to hear more about this and about my self-realization story, then you can watch the video called I Meditated for 9 hours a day for 10 days. Here's what I learned. I will make sure to put the video link here on the screen and down on the description box. Hopefully this video will make much more sense after watching that one, so I'll be here waiting for you. In a nutshell, if I was to describe what this retreat offered me more than what I just said, is seeing that I am free now. And this freedom is so deep and so profound that it can't really be described. It can't be somehow condensed into words. Of course, I realized this freedom quite some time ago when I lived in the Zen temple. If you watch the video I just mentioned, then you will find out more about that. But somehow over the years, this peace a bit faded away, in the sense that life got more busy. I moved from country to country and went through some external changes, so to speak, and I forgot this way of refreshing this understanding of who I am. So this retreat very much offered me the chance to not just to see once again who I am beyond the mind or prior to the mind, but it also helped me to know how to refresh that understanding, as this understanding is to be refreshed each time from experience. Otherwise, I find that it's very easy to get seduced by the mind. And I realized that it all depends on the stance that we take. We have two possibilities: to take the stance of what we are not, in which case that would be the ego, or the person we imagine ourselves to be, or the stance of our true self, of who we truly are in reality. Somehow this stance, it's so easy to interchange, I would say. And during this long meditation hours, I realized that this stance very much resembles to an act of illusion. And what I mean by that is, imagine an illusionist. He is so skillful in the way he moves his hands and guides our attention to the direction that he wants, that we can't really catch the trick. We are seduced to believe that what he is showing is reality, when in fact we are simply witnessing an act of illusion. So, taking the stance of the ego or the separate self is pretty much like that. We play this act of illusion onto ourselves. We are so used to taking ourselves to be this person that has a past or certain preferences, certain decisions to be made, or certain triggerings that we don't even realize when we stand as this imaginary self. And then sometimes, without realizing, so much we can be this separate self that we can try to change it. Meaning that by reading books or hearing teachers speak about how to even get rid of this self or transform this self, we fall into this illusion, thinking that this self can be changed or improved. But this self is still there. So the change that we are hoping for is futile. It can bring only short-term relief, but not the peace and the happiness we long for. Then we can say, how shall we do it? How do we take the stance of who we truly are? In my experience, by observing what we are not. And I find meditation to be the best environment where we can deliberately take time to notice this separate self. In my experience, I realized that there isn't a separate self in actuality. There isn't a substantial self I called myself or I. All that I could find were thoughts and feelings. And these thoughts and feelings and maybe sensations all arose on behalf of somebody or something that is not there. I couldn't find a thinker of my thoughts. When I analyzed my experience, all that I could find were thoughts. Same with feelings. All that I could find were feelings, not a feeler, not a person there feeling. There were thoughts that were making this person. And then I found that I, in inverted commas, became that person that thoughts imposed on me. And of course, without seeing them clearly, without examining them through meditation, I could very easily take myself for something that I am not. And then my actions, the way I related to myself and others, were derived from this sense of being a separate self. Everything revolved around me. I was the center of my universe. The self was at the core of my decision making. And that meant a lot, because this separate self, this illusion, was always seeking to protect itself. And that just kept the suffering going on and on and on. Without seeing clearly these thoughts, even today I could have experienced that suffering that I went through, which was extremely unbearable. And then, to my surprise, I realized that this self isn't really there. So it really depends on the stance that we take. There isn't in reality a separate self. However, we can imagine ourselves to be through thinking and feeling and sensing. Or we can stand or take the stance of who we truly are. In which case, we would be silent. And then our thoughts and feelings and actions will be derived from this true self. And of course, even by calling it a self, I am making one. But what I essentially mean is just being, or just allowing experience to be as it is right now. Right now I see the flower, I see the room that I am in. There is no experiencer there. I can't find one if I was to search my experience. And I like it very much that in Zen they try not to speak of this self. They just say, well, the trees are green, the sky is blue, and that's it. Meaning that you don't create anything. You just allow reality to be as it is. There isn't a self there to protect from suffering. And even if thinking that arises on behalf of the separate self comes, then even if for some moments we identify with it, meaning that we believe it to be true, by keeping this understanding fresh, we can disentangle, so to speak, from these thoughts. We see through this act of illusion. We slowly quit playing this game of being an illusionist. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is that meditation offered to me the opportunity to see my experience closely, to see that all that I ever experience are thoughts and feelings and sensations in the body, smells, tastes, sounds, textures, and so on. But there isn't some doer or experiencer or feeler or thinker there that experiences all this. So if you have this deep longing, this deep desire to find out who you truly are, then I recommend meditation. And if you would like to meditate with me, and you are more than welcome to do so. I meditate 2 times 50 minutes from 4:30 and 5:30 UK time zone on Facebook Live. There is a group where you can find these meditations, and I will make sure to put the link to the group down in the description box. You can also discuss in private with me if that's something that you would like to do. And every first or third Thursday of the month we meet online, and there we start with a guided meditation that is designed to take you back to your true nature. And then we discuss about our experience, we share our insights, and we dive deeper and deeper into our true nature. They are all donation based, the private sessions and these online meetings, so any support that you might offer, if you can, would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for your time and your interest in discovering your true self or refreshing this understanding, and hope to see you whenever you can attending these events I just mentioned. Take care.